Thinking about taking a cruise? You might want to reconsider. Cruises, with their oceanic views, onboard entertainment, and the excitement of docking at exotic locales, seem to have it all. They promise a hassle-free vacation, where the world comes to you instead of you chasing after it. You can dine under the stars, dance till dawn, and wake up to a new horizon every day. It's like a floating city, offering a buffet of experiences that cater to every taste. But is it all just smooth sailing? Is it truly the dream vacation it's painted to be? The glamour of cruising often overshadows some less appealing aspects that could potentially dampen your spirits and leave you questioning your decision. From environmental impact to health and safety risks, there's a myriad of considerations that often go unnoticed in the glimmer of the cruise industry. Before you book that cruise, let's delve into some reasons why you might want to reconsider. First and foremost, let's talk about the environmental impact of cruises. Cruise ships, although majestic and awe-inspiring, are not as gentle on our planet as they may seem. Every minute, these floating cities churn out vast quantities of air pollutants, contributing to global warming. The smokestack emissions from a single cruise ship can equal the pollution of nearly 1 million cars in a day, not to mention the waste they produce. Imagine the waste generated by thousands of passengers on board, from food scraps to plastic waste. And we haven't even touched on the noise pollution that disrupts marine life or the damage to coral reefs from anchoring. Furthermore, the fuel used by these ships, known as bunker fuel, is one of the dirtiest fuels out there. It's high in sulfur, and when burned it releases harmful pollutants into the atmosphere. It's clear that the environmental footprint of cruises is larger than you might think. Ever experienced motion sickness? Imagine that while being stuck on a ship. Now let's talk about motion sickness. It's a common occurrence on cruises, and it's one of the top reasons why some people avoid cruising. It's that unpleasant sensation you get when the motion you sense with your inner ear is different from the motion you visualize. The rocking and swaying of a cruise ship can lead to dizziness, nausea, and even vomiting. And while most cruise ships are equipped with stabilizers to minimize this movement, it doesn't completely eliminate it. Over-the-counter medications and wristbands can help alleviate symptoms, but they're not foolproof. Plus, who wants to spend their vacation feeling groggy from medications? And remember, once the ship sets sail, there's no getting away from the motion until you dock at your next port. So, if you're prone to motion sickness, a cruise might not be the best choice for you. Think you're getting a spacious room on that cruise? Think again. Now let's talk accommodations. Picture a standard hotel room. It's usually spacious enough, right? You've got your comfy double bed, maybe a desk, a couple of chairs, a decent-sized bathroom. Now let's shrink that image down. Keep going. A little more. There you have it. That's your typical cruise cabin. These cabins are designed to be compact and efficient. Every inch of space is deliberately used. But for some, this clever design can translate to cramped quarters. The average cruise cabin is significantly smaller than your typical hotel room. And if you're someone who likes to stretch out and enjoy their personal space, this might be a bit of a letdown. Moreover, if you're traveling with family or friends, these limited quarters can quickly become congested. So, if you value space and comfort, a cruise cabin might not meet your expectations. Before we continue, here's a little request. You're enjoying our content, hit the like button and subscribe to our channel. This will keep you updated on our range of topics, from travel hacks to vacation discussions. Your support fuels our content creation. Now let's dive back into our discussion on cruising. All-inclusive? Not so fast. When you first book that dream cruise, the term all-inclusive may sound like a promise of carefree vacationing. But let's unravel the truth behind this seemingly generous package. All-inclusive often refers to the basics: your cabin, meals, and perhaps some onboard entertainment. But what about those enticing shore excursions, or that relaxing spa treatment, or even the simple pleasure of sipping a cocktail as you watch the sunset over the ocean? You guessed it. These are almost always additional costs that are not included in your initial package. Let's talk shore excursions. These mini adventures can be a highlight of any cruise, offering the chance to explore exotic locales, experience local culture, or embark on thrilling activities. However, these excursions can cost anywhere from $50 to several $100s per person. And with multiple ports of call on most itineraries, these costs can quickly add up. Then there are gratuities. These are often automatically added to your bill, amounting to anywhere from $10 to $20 per person per day. While you can adjust or remove these charges, it's generally frowned upon not to tip, as many of the staff rely on these as part of their income. And let's not forget onboard purchases. From that irresistible duty-free perfume to the professional photos taken at dinner, these seemingly small purchases can make a significant dent in your wallet. Some cruise lines even charge for basics like bottled water and soft drinks. So while that initial all-inclusive price tag may seem like a bargain, it's essential to factor in these additional costs when budgeting for your cruise. It's always a good idea to read the fine print, ask questions, and plan ahead to avoid any financial surprises. As the old saying goes, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. And in the case of cruising, that all-inclusive package might not be as inclusive as you'd hoped. Like flexibility in your travel plans, you might not find it on a cruise. When it comes to cruising, one of the main drawbacks is the rigid schedules and itineraries that are set in stone. Cruise lines pride themselves on offering the ease of visiting multiple destinations without the bother of packing and unpacking. However, this convenience comes with a catch: fixed itineraries. The ship docks at a port, you get a few hours to explore, and before you know it, it's time to get back on board. There's no room for spontaneity, for deciding to spend an extra day exploring a city that has captured your heart, or for veering off the beaten path to discover a hidden gem. Your time ashore is dictated by the cruise schedule, limiting your ability to immerse yourself fully in the places you visit. If you prefer to explore at your own pace, a cruise might not be the right fit for you. Enjoy solitude and personal space? Cruises might not be your cup of tea. On a cruise ship, you're sharing the floating city with thousands of other passengers. This leads to crowded public areas like dining rooms, pool decks, and entertainment venues. Imagine the hustle and bustle at mealtimes, the competition for lounge chairs by the pool, the jostle for a good spot at the evening show. The sheer number of people can be overwhelming, especially if you're someone who cherishes quiet moments and personal space. Add to this the restricted cabin size, and you've got a situation that might feel more cramped than comfortable. And remember, escape options are somewhat limited when you're in the middle of the ocean. In terms of privacy and personal space, cruises may leave a lot to be desired. Next up, health and safety risks. A significant downside to cruising is the potential health hazards. Cruise ships can often become a hotbed for infectious diseases. The reason? Close quarters, shared amenities, and a large number of passengers make the perfect concoction for diseases to spread, especially in confined spaces. We've seen this play out with outbreaks of illnesses such as norovirus and more recently, COVID-19. Thousands of passengers using the same dining facilities, entertainment venues, and even staircases can increase the risk of transmission. And once a disease starts spreading on a cruise ship, it can be incredibly challenging to control due to the close living arrangements and shared facilities. It's like a domino effect. One person gets sick and before you know it, it's a full-blown outbreak. As we can see, health and safety risks are a real concern on cruises. Looking for a deep cultural experience, a cruise might not deliver. Cruises, while offering the allure of multiple destinations in a single trip, often fall short on cultural immersion. Picture this: your ship docks in a vibrant port city, rich with history, culture, and local cuisine. However, the ticking clock is your constant companion. The brief port stops typical of most cruises often leave passengers with just a few precious hours to explore. Fancy a dip in the pool? You might have to share it with a few hundred others. Cruise ships, while boasting an array of amenities, often fall short when it comes to their swimming pools. Contrary to the spacious and inviting images presented in brochures, these pools tend to be smaller than expected, and with thousands of passengers on board, they can quickly become overcrowded, especially during peak hours. Picture this: you've just returned from a long day of exploring a bustling port city. All you want is a peaceful swim to unwind, but instead you're met with a pool that's brimming with people, splashing and shouting. The tranquility you were seeking seems to be a distant dream. So, if you're dreaming of a peaceful swim, a cruise ship pool might not meet your expectations. Beware of tourist traps. That's a phrase we've all heard before. But what does it really mean in the context of a cruise vacation? Let's delve into it. Many of the destinations heavily visited by cruise ships have developed a reputation for being just that: tourist traps. These places are often overcrowded with cruise passengers, lined with souvenir shops and vendors selling overpriced goods and services. More often than not, these destinations are mere facades, created to give tourists a shallow taste of the local culture, while primarily aiming to extract as much money as possible. Aggressive shop owners or locals demanding payment for already rendered services isn't an uncommon sight. The authenticity of the place and the genuineness of the experience often get lost amidst the commercialization. So if you're seeking authentic experiences, a cruise might not be your best bet. Remember, True travel lies in immersing oneself in the local culture, not just skimming the surface. Nothing ruins a vacation like conflict. The close quarters and shared amenities on cruise ships can sometimes lead to disputes among guests. Imagine you're trying to enjoy your meal in the dining room, but the chatter from the next table is just too loud. Or perhaps you're lounging by the pool and a group of raucous guests decides to take over. Cultural differences can also play a part in these conflicts. With guests hailing from all corners of the globe, misunderstandings and miscommunications can arise. Excessive alcohol consumption, a common feature of cruise vacations, may further exacerbate these issues, leading to disagreements or even altercations. And let's not forget about disputes over facilities. With everyone vying for the same swimming pools, hot tubs, and fitness centers, tensions can run high. Noise complaints are another common issue, given the proximity of the cabins to one another. Clearly, the potential for conflict can add a layer of stress to your cruise vacation. Last but not least, let's talk about medical access. So you're on a cruise miles away from the nearest hospital and suddenly, you feel unwell. What do? Cruise ships do have medical facilities, but they are often limited. They are generally equipped to handle minor illnesses and injuries, but not serious medical emergencies. If you have a chronic condition that requires regular care, you might face challenges in managing your health. Moreover, the cost of medical services on board can be quite high, and your regular health insurance might not cover these expenses. And if you need to be evacuated for medical reasons, the cost can be astronomical. Also, keep in mind that the medical staff on the ship might not have the same qualifications as your regular doctor back home. So, if you have health concerns, a cruise might not be the safest option for you. So there you have it, 12 reasons to reconsider taking a cruise. We've delved into cruising's less glamorous side, highlighting the environmental toll, motion sickness, and compact cabins that may feel confining. We've highlighted the hidden costs, such as excursions, gratuities, onboard purchases, and the rigid itineraries that limit flexibility. The excessive crowds, limited personal space, potential health risks due to shared amenities, and limited cultural immersion during short port stops were also discussed. We've touched upon destinations turned into tourist traps, conflicts between guests, and restricted medical access. Ultimately, the decision is yours. But remember, an informed traveler is a smart traveler. Safe travels, wherever your journey may take you.